All right. Hello, hello. Happy Friday. Let me get my angles together so y'all see all my business. But happy Friday. Shout out to Wake and Bake Nation. This is for the thumbnail later. Um, I got this shirt during 420. Super excited to support our small brands. Y'all just gonna deal with the vision boards in the corner. But give me a few seconds. I'm gonna turn my Sego down so I don't have any copyright strikes. But yes, happy May, happy May. May it's a new month. We're still in quarter 2. But you know, I hope everyone is getting to their goals. They're reaching the heights that they want to reach. And today's a good show. We got some headlines squared up. We've got Ask GGG segment that's good to go. And yeah, I'm just super excited. How was y'all's week? Once again, hello, hello. I am Keisha. I am the co-founder and chief community officer of Madam Green Grow. If you are not familiar with Madam Green Grow, you may just be watching this on a replay. Somebody sent you the link. Madam Green Grow is an organization and a space for women of color in cannabis who are looking for education, who are looking for promotion, and who are looking for celebration. So right now I'm streaming live on our YouTube profile. I'm looking at the links like, yes. Streaming live on the YouTube and also in our Garden Club community. Hello to our Garden Club members. Super excited to be able to present this information tonight because it's been a week, y'all. I'm sipping on water because the amount of cannabis I've been consuming is probably keeping me a bit dehydrated. So, if you're watching live, go ahead and drop a comment. One of the great tools with this system is that I'm able to share the comment live as I'm communicating with you all. But, you know, just a little bit of a test, you can see. Looks like that, right? So if you happen to have any questions, feel free to drop them in the comments, whether you're on YouTube. If you happen to be watching on Facebook, StreamYard actually has a bit of some type of system issue where it doesn't show me your name, but if you just put your question or your comment with your name, if you want that shout out, looking at my hair like, woo. If you want that shout out, be sure to just let us know. So I am going to get started in a few minutes, but I'm turning on some music, by the way, because if there's anything you want to know about me, is that I cannot work without music at all. I can't. I sometimes can't even sleep without music. It's a bit of an interesting thing, but this is a really interesting song that's playing. But I'm going to go ahead and get started. I'm going to share the headlines of the day. There are a few of them, and I always like to start out with those who really support us in the community because they need their shine, right? So I'm going to say hello, hello. How are you? Thank you for watching us live. This is MGG Live, where we go over some of the highlights of the week when it comes to women of color in cannabis, and that's just what we're doing. We're sharing the story. So let me pull up these headlines here. But yeah, feel free. Let me know how was y'all's week, because it was an interesting one, at least for me. Here's the first headline we're going over. Canna Boomers. So Canna Boomers, Patricia is a friend of Madam Green Grow. Super excited to share her article that was actually posted by, or was written by Caroline Phillips, who is the founder, creator of the National Cannabis Fest. Excuse me, y'all. It's been a week, y'all. And one of the things that I love about Patricia is, and this is a bit of an op-ed, so to speak, is that she's always authentically telling her story. And we actually got to meet her a few years ago in Philly at DACO's conference, one of the photos that we use frequently. But as you dive into this particular article, she goes over a lot of her background and what kind of led her to cannabis. And I thought it was a really interesting piece that allowed us to get a perspective of sorts. Switch into my headphones here. Give me a second. So I feel like what this article allowed us to do was it gave us a bit of a background, but also it opened up a little bit of a perspective of the quote unquote boomer generation and how just the way in which cannabis plays into the conversation. So this is a really good read. Shout out to Astro Hayes, who actually interviewed Patricia. This was a really great interview. And she also gives a huge shout out to some of the folks who have kind of mentored her and ushered her into this space. And I'm super, 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 super proud and completely honored to know Patricia, be able to share her story. Last year, she was one of our 31 days, 31, she was a participant in the 31 Days of Women of Color. And we were able to highlight her story. But we shared so much. So a bit about, this particular article. As you all know, the National Cannabis Fest was canceled, unfortunately, it was postponed and moved to a later date. So Patricia actually was going to be participating in, selecting some of the sessions this year, as she also does for South by Southwest. Come on, powerhouse. Can we give it up? Can we give it up? But, as the postponement happened, this is the culmination of that particular article. So the title of this article, which I did not read in the beginning, was Canna Boomers Pushing Back Against Artificial Boundaries. So I was really super, and I'm going to hop back on screen. I was really, really super excited and proud for Patricia. I love this article, and I also love being able to highlight and spotlight women of color. So that is our first article of the night. I'm going to go ahead and drop this in the chat, which I hope will then it'll give you all the links. So awesome. Okay. This is a male or female. I'm well. This particular broadcast is highlighting women of color, whether it is those who are in the industry or outside the industry. And you can always find out more by visiting www.madamgreengrow.com. So there's our information. Awesome. Headline number 2 is, I'm going to go ahead and move this here. Remember, we were working with the new system here. StreamYard is a bit of an interesting one, but the second article is actually start at the beginning. Al Harrington and Viola Cares to push boundaries in the cannabis industry to combat injustice. Now, if you're familiar with Al Harrington, the article just goes ahead and jumps in, talks about a bit of his basketball history and how he formed this company. He actually just had a major hire. I'm going to make this a bit bigger here. Just had a major hire earlier this year, bringing a woman of color in the chief marketing position. But a bit about Viola, which I had no idea how deep the name went for Al. It's named after his grandmother, as they spoke on the in the article. But today they talk a little bit more about Viola Cares, which is a social equity initiative that focuses on assisting formerly incarcerated individuals with the reentry process. It's a really, really, really great cause that basically allows folks who have been impacted by the failed war on drugs to be able to enter back into the industry that pushed them out and be able to use a little bit of their expertise there. So this was a really great read in honor of his grandmother. I thought that you all would like to know about that. One of the pieces that I really, really, really wanted y'all to take away from this was the social equity program, and I'm going to highlight it as I read it, helps folks get licensing to begin their cannabis business. So for those who aren't familiar with cannabis licensing in different parts of the state and different parts of the country, it's a loophole. You need big dollars, you need big support, and right now a lot of folks are toting the inclusion or having a minority as a figurehead, because once again, minorities, women traditionally have been left out of the process, whether it be due to capital, whether it be due to background. So these social equity terms appear a lot in licenses. In Maryland, for example, and I talked about this a few episodes ago, we had a huge HB2 law or regulation put into place. Our next application process for growers and processors, not even dispensaries, just growers and processors, were held. I mean, it was a very long and tumultuous process. The goal was to get more minorities and women and veterans in these positions. And they have programs like this all over the country. It's just being able to combat the placing folks as a figurehead. So I'm always honored to highlight organizations who do the work to be able to help people get a bit of a leg in the industry, right? Because if you don't have the capital coming in, it's going to be very hard for you to stay sustainable and grow your business. So shout out to Al, shout out to the work that they're doing over at Viola, the work that the Viola Cares program is doing to get, people into the market, building generational wealth, building those millionaires, because we need them in our community. All right. So the next article I've got for you all, which I'm telling you, last week, if you have been following along with us last week, it was dry. I guess everybody was still coming off of the humdrum 420, right? But this week it's been bumping. So I'd love to share this article with you all straight off of Leafly. If you all aren't familiar with Jasmine has been, and let me get the appropriate spelling of her name here, but this is an article from Leafly. Jasmine Stanley has been a body positive advocate in the cannabis industry for about a little while now. She did a live stream actually on 420, which we talked about last week. And I was very excited to see this piece in Leafly, because not only is this traditionally not an image that people would post in mainstream media. One, shout out to cannabis for being a pioneer in that area. Two, it's a woman of color. Three, it's a woman of color in cannabis doing yoga, things that are typically not highlighted, right? So shout out to Jasmine for breaking a lot of those barriers and stereotypes as it relates to that. But the article really goes into a bit of her background and how she came to the practice, whether it been consuming cannabis and yoga and bringing that all together. So low key, I'm very excited to see Leafly in his ads. I'm very excited to see what Jasmine is coming up with in 2020. She's currently, living in North Carolina, as per the article says. So things are a little bit difficult. As you know, North Carolina does not have a recreational law. So, and it's still, the South. It's a very, very interesting, but they're growing a lot of hemp there, though. Has anybody heard that? I'm gonna hop back on. Has anybody heard about the amount of hemp that they're growing in the South? Georgia, North Carolina, hemp meccas. But back to Jasmine. As you all know, I'm going to go ahead and drop this article here so you can read it later. But this was a really great one. I loved the perspective that she gives in all interviews. It's authentic, which I think that we typically tend to shy away from when we're not, when we're new to a particular industry or segment. And then we also, we're up against, different barriers, different structures. So I encourage you all, read this article, share it with your friends. Let's give this sister the love and the shine that she needs. And also, just to hop back on, if you aren't a member of our newsletter gang, be sure to sign up for it on madamgreengrow.com. All of these articles were sent out to our email crew. So go ahead and make sure you sign back up for that. If you haven't signed up for it, sign up for it. Share it with a friend too. All right, our last article of the night. And I hope you all are doing well. I see folks on the live. I'm super excited. Thank you for the love. Thank you for the hearts. I know you could be anywhere on a Friday night. Shout out to Wake and Bake Nation. Is anyone else a fan of the Wake and Bake, or do you prefer the nighttime wind down? Go drop that in the chat. Well, it's over here on my screen, but go ahead and drop that in chat. Are you a fan of the wake and bake, or are you more of a slump and sleep? Does that work? Let me know if that works. So I'm going to make sure I say wake and bake or no. Hello, hello. Thank you for showing up for Madam Green Grow Live. It's Friday night. We are here. I see y'all jumping. Everyone is getting their groove on. We just finished our headlines. So if you missed that segment, go ahead and hop back in the chat. I've dropped all the links there. Actually, I have one more article, but there's my vote there. I'm going to go ahead and share this last article and take a bit of a sip. But if you are watching live, please be sure to let me know where you're checking in from, if you're consuming something or not. You're drinking water because you've gone through your cannabis alignment way too many times during this new, unusual situation that we're in. Just let us know. Let me know. Talk to me. Last article, which was a doozy. All right. This is the New York Times, which, Lord, I'm thankful that this article is free here. But if you had not heard the news this week, there was a huge, huge push for a cut in pot taxes. Now, I'm not sure if you are familiar with the operating side of the business when it comes to cannabis, but just know it's hard to write off anything. Why? Because cannabis is a Schedule 1 drug. So it's hard to pay for unemployment tax. It's hard for insurance. It's hard for our folks out here. So if you are in Maryland, I'm going to hop back on the screen before I get into this article. If you are in Maryland, please support our minority business owners who are dispensing that medicine for our patients here, because it's hard. Those startup costs, those wholesaler costs, those employee costs do not come for free. So back to the article. There was a huge coalition that came together to ask California Governor Gavin Newsom for a temporary cut in the state's hefty pot taxes. I hate when folks use pot, but it's all right. We're gonna keep it going. A big group of folks, which initially drew my attention to this particular article, was sorry for the ads. Was the organizations listed: Americans for Safe Access, the Black Women's Cannabis Council, the California Minority Alliance, and the National Diversity and Inclusion Cannabis Alliance, Indica. Shout out to Bill Money. They literally just said, hey, this is really kicking our butt with these taxes. And if you weigh the pros and cons when it comes to cannabis taxes in California versus other states, it's super duper high for it to be such a widespread resource for a lot of people. So feel free to hop on New York Times, read this article. I'm going to put it in the chat. I want to end this particular headline segment with letting you know, this is what they said. If action is not taken now, many of our business colleagues and friends may be pushed into the gray or worse, back into the illicit market. And that's right there. Boom, back. Think about it. Think about how many small businesses that you support, which I try to, and which Jamia also tries to. We try to support small business. We try to support Black business. We try to support women-owned business, because we know that, our routines have stopped. I'm about to get real deep. Hang in there with me. Our normal and our routines have stopped. So the cash flow that many were expecting, the events, the conferences, the presentations, the special moments that everyone was, looking forward to this spring have kind of shifted. Graduations, people have had live streaming funerals. So if you can, try and buy from a small business once a week, if you can. And if not, throw a share their way. Send a link to a friend who can, because when we all come out of this in some way, shape, or form, it's going to be difficult for businesses who were living and operating 30 days behind to catch up. So that's my note here for y'all. I'm gonna drop this last article here, and then I am going to take a sip of my water, because I didn't take a sip when I was talking. See if there are any questions in the chat, and I'm going to move on to the Ask MGG segment. Man, oh man. So as we come down from, haha, no pun intended, as we come down from our 420 month, right? As we come down from our 420 month, a lot of folks asked, oh, wait, y'all. Thank y'all for letting me know. This was last week's question. This week's question is just a little bit. Y'all have to forgive me. Boom. All right. I said boom and nothing showed up. There we go. So coming down from the 420 high of the week or the month, a lot of folks we talked about consuming at home. We talked about safe consumption. Last week, we talked a little bit about maybe doing a bit of a tolerance or dosing differently. And so just to bring a little bit of light, this is one of the questions that we pulled out of the MGG pot. Your favorite munchie. So 6 weeks ago, my favorite munchie, and I'm very embarrassed to say this, was I think I had one around here. Y'all remember Patti LaBelle's Patty Pies that she came up with a few years ago? So they make very small version of those pies, and they're probably about this big. Actually, don't judge me. This is the container. I literally, those, for 6 weeks, I've had two every week. Judge your cousins. But comfort food is big for me. I'm also a tourist. Shout out to any other tourists that are watching. It's tourist season. I'm gonna pray for y'all, just like y'all need to pray for me and birthday coming up. But now I'm being a bit more active. I'm being a bit more engaged when it comes to how I'm consuming. I know that I can't sit and eat 2 patty pies, some little boosie hot chips. What's the Wrap Snacks? No one told me that they switched the formula up on Wrap Snacks, and I have been demolishing them. But Wrap Snacks, chips, all of these different things, even, alcohol, you kind of defer to a comfortable state, especially when you have no idea if you're going back to work, if your mama going to be able to get her health insurance. So I've been munching a bit differently and incorporating a lot more fruits and vegetables. And I've also beefed up a lot of I've veggied out a lot of my meals. So I'll add a side salad onto lunch, or I'll even do breakfast salads sometimes, just to kind of keep myself fuller a lot longer. Does that make any sense? But some of the suggestions or some of the recommendations that we got from Munchies was some folks have been doing deep fried infused Oreos. Can someone send me that recipe, please? We'll recreate it on Madam Green Grow. Trust and believe. Eating a lot of cookies. Munchies are a big thing for folks. So we kept it a little light this week when it came to the question, because I know throughout the April, we talked about consumption. We talked about different things. And of course, May is Mental Health Awareness Month. So signing up for the newsletter and following along with our content over the next couple of weeks, you'll be getting tips and tricks of how to thrive during this month, especially with your mental health intact, as best you can. So that is the Ask MGG segment there. We are 23 minutes in, y'all, rolling and shaking. It's a Friday night. Got folks live. I'm so excited to see y'all. I'm going to have to stop clapping. I'm going to work on that. Every week I try to work on something different. Last week it was the tapping on the table. This week is going to be the clap, because I clapped way too much during the lives. But thank you so much for tuning in live. I see you all. If you are watching this via the replay, or someone sent you this link, said, "Ooh, girl, look at this shirt." Shout out to Wake and Bake Nation. I am Keisha. I am the Chief Community Officer and co-founder of Madam Green Grow. I'm here every Friday through May, giving you our headlines, spotlighting women of color, and talking about, things that women in cannabis talk about, I am going to slide over Toronto. We were just in Toronto for Jamia's birthday. And no, we were in Atlanta. We were in Toronto in October. And it was cold. It was so cold. It was so cold. But we had so much fun. The rec market there is super dope. Canadian cannabis was, it was decent. My father actually lives in Canada, or splits his time between Canada and Alaska and Washington State. So I have been trying to get up there for a while now. So shout out to international. I love Canada. We were gonna go back this spring, but coronavirus really did it in for us. So I have one last, see, with StreamYard, you gotta shift through the things, but I'm going to talk through these last two things before, as I wrap up with the next 5 minutes. Don't jump off. Don't jump off. I see y'all. Don't jump off. So, rattling off the top of the brain, April, we had a giveaway, giving away Tribe Tokes. Nobody won it. So we are going to continue it through May. I'm looking over for it. We are giving away a full spectrum CBD vape pen. All you have to do is say, hey, I watched MGG live, and this is coming directly to you, maybe with some lemon Oreos, maybe not, but pretty dope pen. Mango Haze Sativa is courtesy of Dashida Dawson. She had giveaways when she came to Maryland in February. We did not give the giveaways away, and now we are. So, okay, so that's the first announcement. Church announcement. Second announcement is, if you are not familiar with our garden club community where this is streaming live, shout out to y'all. Hey. Thank you so much for supporting us. We are there talking headlines. We're running polls. We're just getting things going. So if you're looking for a community where you can have a safe space to talk about cannabis and you're a woman of color, feel free, join the garden community. That link is in our bio, and it's also on madamgreengrow.com. The last announcement for tonight is MGG After Dark this month. Oh, no, second to last announcement. MGG After Dark is May 16th, which is actually my birthday. And we will be talking about our Nurture the Truth campaign. We'll be dispelling some myths. We're just going to have some real down deep conversation about some of the myths around cannabis, some of the culture around cannabis, how you communicate with friends and family, hiding things and doing those types of things. So more information will come out about that. And I think I'm going to stream MGG Live next week through our other software so you can see these announcements. But you can always go on our website or on our social media channels and find out more about what we got going on. The last piece, and I really wish I had, let me see if I can pull up the graphic here. So we heard y'all. A lot of folks asked about growing and how to grow. I know we talked a little bit about it over the last couple of weeks, but as you know, growing is different. Growing cannabis at home, indoor cultivation. So over the last couple of weeks, we kind of hinted and talked about indoor cultivation. Depending on where you are, we are fortunate to have a grow in a place where we can. So we are going to be able to bring that information to you. And I am going to just pull this graphic up here, because in May, we will start our, not that one. In May, we're going to start our grow sessions with Madam Green Grow. Let's see how that came up there. All right, great. So in every Sunday, starting tomorrow, starting on Sunday, this Sunday, the 3rd, right? Yes, the 3rd, we'll be doing grow sessions with Madam Green Grow. Basically, we'll be talking about different topics around indoor cultivation throughout the month of May. So we'll be talking about soil quality. We'll be talking about what type of pots you should use, what type of lights you should use, some of the things that kind of trip you up when it comes to pH and water, and if you should use bottled nutrients. You shouldn't. Now, if you don't have to, don't you use those newts, grow that organic cannabis. So we'll be talking about that every Sunday. It is free. We're hoping to bring some of our favorite women of color and cannabis growers to the platform to be able to talk about that. All this will be hosted in a private group. It won't be in the garden club. So we want to make sure that for the safety of our attendees and for, of course, our safety, that we are communicating about this in a safe space. So more information about that should drop, if not after this, it should definitely drop tomorrow morning. Everything's pretty much scheduled. So super excited to give you all that information. Super excited to bring you all what we have for May. May is Mental Health Awareness Month. So we'll be having a bit of different conversations with different folks about mental health and cannabis, how that relates to women of color in cannabis. I'm trying to get a therapist on so I can have a therapist who is canna friendly, who will talk about using cannabis, during treatment or some of her experiences. Her experiences. But I mean, May is super exciting. We're coming up on 30 minutes though, so I'm not going to hold y'all. I'm going to look at the comments. I'm going to drink this water. Please, if you are consuming cannabis more than usual, you probably have you have mucus built up. Flush that mucus with some water, please. Because nobody wants to hear you going. I drink out this wine glass every week. Yes. Oh my gosh. So cold. So cold. All right. Okay, I think I'm wrapping this up. And you know what I just realized? I think I'm streaming live on the Madam Green Girl page. Oh, that is super interesting. Well, coming up on 30 minutes, I'm going to go ahead and end this presentation. But I know I'm like, now everybody know, everybody. But shout out to Wicked Big Nation. I'll see you all next Friday. We'll be back here talking about mental health awareness, and it's going to be a good week. Have a good one.